And we're going to start with our greenery. And we're going to do like we normally would on a wreath. We'll set our perimeter with our first greenery, and then we'll work from there. All right, I'm going to pull these down. All right, I'm going to start to shake hands with this, and we're going to start to shape it out. And I want that leaf to the back, the rose leaf to the back, and all the pretties to the front. And the reason I'm kind of adamant about layering that way is so I get that pretty softness on the top, okay? All right, let's kind of come to the middle of our foam here to start this out, and I'm going to get my shape. So there's my first section, okay? And before I go too far up, let's talk about where that bow is going to go. We could have chose anywhere. We can put it right here, which would be adorable. So if we do that, we know we're going to need some greenery here and some greenery above it, okay, to kind of start to set our transitions. Now, the question was asked earlier today, hey, why don't you just go ahead and put that in? And to me, the reason I don't is because I'm working behind it the whole time and it's easier for me to construct. But it's also a lot easier for you to see what I'm doing without doing that, okay? So I'm going to leave the bow out, and we're going to start continuing building up the perimeter, okay? So I know I need this piece to kind of go up high, to party up high, yeah. Party, party. I'm going to separate these out. Yep, and just bring these to the foreground. Look at that. How cute is that? And we're going to come up pretty high here. And if you need to bring your bow back, bring your bow back. Take a look at it, okay? Yeah, that'd be fine. So I'm going to kind of stay in that swag shape and work off the top. And we can make these very quick and fast and easy, but I'm going to do it with more detail. So that means I'm going to go a little slower and build smaller pieces to get that really wispy look. All right. Kind of the feeling of a lantern swag, but what's going to allow us, because we're building it on foam, we're going to have the ability to make it more detailed. So more smaller pieces that are going in there that we're going to break up a little bit. So we get that really pretty wispy feel that I love, and makes it just kind of special. So I have one going up, one going down. We're going to need a little bit more. We're going to fill that in a little bit more. I'm going to use this one down from the center, so right where it's going to transition. We're going to have it come right in here, okay? So I'm going to trim that down a little bit. Well, you know, at Disney, they have so many things that they use on different exhibits, and they are doing a new ride called Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And Tiana's my favorite princess. And the reason she's my favorite princess is because she's a working girl. That girl got a job, a dream, and she's almost there. So she's my favorite princess. And we are pass holders, so pass holders got a preview of it. It's kind of a lotto, and we did get it. Kaya got on there and got it that one day. And they have some of the neatest, like they've come so far on some of the greenery and things that they're using that give that illusion of a flower, but it's very much plastic in the way it's cut out. But all the texture of it is so neat. I thought, oh wow, the technology's really coming along, even in the theme parks with the artificial flowers they're using. So I'll be curious. I'm sure that may not be cost effective to bring out to the major markets, you know, like to you and me. But I'll be curious to see if we see some of that trickle down to it. All right, I pulled most of that off. Now I've got these actually individually. I'm gonna come in here to the right. I'm gonna kind of circle back around here. All right, so let's bring our bow back and see if we like that so far. Oh yeah, that's cute. That's fine. So you can see I've set my perimeter. I'm happy with the distance everything is. Okay, so now I'm going to build from here. Let's take these pieces that are extra, and I'm going to hold these off because we're going to use these more in the foreground. We're going to switch to a different texture, and then we'll bring these more to the foreground when we get to that point. All right, now we're going to use this one. This one has all the fun greeneries. It's got this really cool mustard little grass in here. So we're going to go to town with this one now. I'm going to try to keep it somewhat clustered if possible, and don't go into all the little pieces to start, okay? And then we can do some cuts to make some, you know, little sections here. So this one, see how I can divide it into 3 sections? I'm going to do that right here. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, look at that one. That's going to be a good one, okay? So I'm going to break them down. Here's one of the bigger sections. And I am going to leave this one big first, because I think it's easy to work in between each one of these sections. And the only thing we're going to do different is, because this is the perimeter, that's the longest points out, we got to back these up, okay? So you may have to take a little off the bottom, but I want to leave as much of the cluster together as possible. So here, like, I'm going to have to take off this section, and we'll use it separate, and this will be separate, okay? So we're going to bring that in next. All right, let's go in between. It's got to be a little shorter, so that's why I'm coming back, right? See our line? Perfect. Nailed it. All right, and if you can see a bunch of glue here, put moss, but if not, just keep rocking around. We'll figure that out, covering up the mechanics later, all right? So this is kind of a mustardy color one, so we can kind of alternate those as we're putting them in the colors. Now this one I'd like to be right here, and that's a little too long, so we're going to do the same little trick. Just separate that out. We'll have this as a different piece, and we'll put that one in. I know, this one's going to be a lot of fun. It's not going to be a whip it outer, but I believe you'll be able to charge its worth in this one, because we're going to really put some detail into it. Once we start putting all those little berries in, it's going to pop big time. You're going to love it. And we're going to get the bow in eventually and work around that bow. All right. Sometimes I love just sitting, making these type of things, and just kind of getting into the process. Because a lot of times I'm a quick designer and I want to whip it out. And that's just because I have to do that when we're selling lots of something. It has to get made and out the door, right? But when we're doing something like this, we can sit down and enjoy the process and, you know, charge a little more for it for our time and get into the excitement of it. This one, I want to go between those. So we're going to do the same thing. Cut it here and we'll have that little smaller piece. And I'm going to shake hands with it. That's another thing that's going to set you apart from anybody else, is you're taking the time to manipulate each wire the way it needs to go. So our transition, right, these come down this way, this kind of goes up, and then these go out to the right. So if I'm trying to put these in and these are going this way, it's not going to look right. It's not going to look clean and neat and finished. And it's taken me a long time. It's a simple concept, but it's taken me a long time to learn. Like, if everything just has its own little space here, how much prettier that is. Now, I've got all these pieces right here that have this cool little spiky darker color, and we're going to evenly put those in right now. I'm going to just kind of work around the outside here. I'm going to bring one low right here. And if I can see how pretty that is right there. Oh, that's good. If I can see my my glue, I'm going to cover it up. Starting to cover that up. Here comes another one. Just layer it all in. Now I'm going to use my zigzag technique. So if this came to the front, the next one's going to go zigzag up. So I'm still zigzagging, right? Like a zigzag stitch. But I'm going to go to the outside. So this was to the inside, so this one's going to the outside. And that's how I'm going to get this color evenly distributed, and I'm going to inadvertently create triangles with it by doing that. Once you get the third one in. Okay, come here. Don't slide on me. There we go. So then you just started sliding backwards. I'm going to move that leaf to the back. Oop, I grabbed a little glue on there. All that's going to happen is I'm not going to glue the string, but it's going to irritate me. I try to think out of the box, guys. I mean, you got to be different. You always got to be doing something a little different, and hopefully that encourages you to try something different. Okay, then we're coming back to the middle with the next one. And I'm going to take off this little leaf. I don't really need that on there. And we're going to cut this shorter. The warehouse has been a little short-handed. I've got Paul out with his poor grandfather's not doing well, so he takes care of his grandfather, so he's gone to help him. All right, zigzag, zigzag. So now going back to the outside, and now this is kind of going up. And you see how pretty? And I'm going to run out of red, but that's going to be beautiful because it's just going to be on this side, and I'm digging that totally. I'm loving that. We'll put the mustard on the other side. I didn't even have that planned, but that is going to be so pretty. Bring that up here. Pop that in. Oh, how pretty is that? Turn that leaf around. I'm leaving the leaf on this time. If I don't like that leaf and the way it's sitting, I'm going to cut it out, but it's okay right now. Let's come on into the right, and we got 2 mustard pieces, and I'm going to cut those out right now, okay? I'm just going to cut them into their own little sections, trim them down, and those are going to go on the right. And then after that, we're going to get that bow in and start to put all of our berries and fun pieces in. Oh, let's come down here. The leaf to the back. I like the leaves in the background. I don't really want them in the foreground. You know, because they're wider and they're going to cover up all our fun little picks. We have this available as a kit. So pretty cool. You get all of this, and you can use the pumpkin for something else if you don't want to. You want to keep the pumpkin for you. Oh, that's so pretty. I put the mustard here and the red over here. Okay, you can already see how full this is from all the wispiness we're putting on there, right? All right. Okay. Now, I'm going to put one more sunflower. I've got an orange, a mustard. So a mustard sunflower would go good right here to kind of get some good spacing. And this one's got a lot of nice greenery. And I'm making sure this stays longer. So I'm going to keep these shorter and up here. But see all that wispiness? It's really important to keep it really, really... That's where we're going to get that high-end look, is cutting the pieces, keeping them really delicate looking, okay? Because we want to be able to command a higher price for this and look like a higher-end piece anyway, okay? Bring this one down just a little bit. Good. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to tuck it over here. Okay, very good. Now I've got these pieces left, and I'm putting those with the other pieces that we have left from the pip berries and a little bit of greenery. Remember, we're going to work that all into the bow. All right, so this is all little things to use later. Okay. So now I'm going to put the bow in a second. Let me get some perimeter berries in, because and then I won't have to work around it. Sometimes detail work is not worth your time, I'm going to be honest with you, depending where you are in the money-making process. But other times, it's real important. So just make sure when you're doing something like this, it's taking more time to put in. You're not just doing your normal markup, because I'm cutting these. I'm breaking each piece down. There's going to be a lot more time in the construction, if you know what I mean. So I've got to add in for those of you who are selling. Now, if you're just making it for yourself, go to town, detail it up, love every minute of the process, and just have so fun. All right, I'm going to take these and trim it off, and we're going to start to get these the right length as I put them in. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom, and we're going to start to piece it in. And I really want to layer these up. When I was getting these pieces and purchasing them to make this kit, I really wanted to showcase that dark orange in the back, and then work with this lighter orange in the front with that little bitty mustard color too. I love that. So when we're putting these on, I'm doing the exact same thing with the zigzag. Okay? I'm zigzagging it in. Just working on placing it right in. Okay, and then I do want some in that midline too. Where this one we just went to the outside, I want to have a little berry in the midline. Let's have one more berry coming down. Like, this is where it's going to really look over the top gorgeous when we get all these berries in here. I need this one kind of long, so I'm going to pull a little of that paper off. Let's go over here. Let's go on down, and I want these kind of in the foreground, but I'm also okay with some of them being a little bit back. There, see, it's kind of tucked in there. Oh, I just adore that. That's that killer depth. Okay, that side's looking good. Let's work on the top. So this one kind of already has a bend going this way, so it'll be perfect to go right in there. And I'm trimming it off and just dipping it in. Let's go right here. And I'm just going to kind of get the perimeter done here because I know a bow's going in. And I'm going to go right in the middle. Let's go in here. Beautiful. Let's go to the right. Let's go here. Now this one I'm going to give it a little bit of bend, and we're going to do that same thing. And remember, we set that perimeter with the greenery that we started with. So we don't have to, you know, go out further than that. We're staying tighter. That's where a lot of people go wrong when they're trying to do something like this. It ends up looking like a peacock because they go way too far out. So you want to keep it tighter. And here I'm trying to make sure that I don't get this side too far down. I want to because I started having so much fun making it. But nope. All right, that leaves me a handful of berries to put in after we get our bow in. Let's get our bow in next. Let me show you how good this looks. So this looks real good. See how wispy it is? Yeah. You know what? The problem is every time we make one of these, I want to keep it. All right, the bow's going to go right in there. So we're going to take and tie this up, and I'm going to put in a wire in the back, and I'll just use one of my stems that I have saved here from earlier. We're going to make our own floral pin. All right, so I made my little wire pin. It's a little too long. I could have maybe used a regular floral pin, but this is, I need it to come out a little bit, not suck in there too much. Okay. Now let me decide what direction. I think I have this option, or I think I want it this way. I think I like that bow just doing that. That's cute as can be. All right, let's get that dang glue on those pieces here. And that's the way you want it, right? Let's push her in. Please go in easily. There she goes. Oh my gosh, that's so stinking cute. Let me fix her a little bit. So once you have that bow, I want to bring the bow back down. I'm going to bring it in. I put it a little too high. It needs to be down a little bit, okay? So let me bring it back out before it gets too glued in. Wiggle gently before it gets too glued in. There we go. Okay, we're going to try it a little lower. I want it right here. I'm just going to pull off that glue and we're going to try it again. So I really like it with two things open, but I think we can get it. Let's try again. Bring this over. There we go. Now be careful when you're doing this. This is a easy way to burn yourself. Hold on to it and press it in. Let's see if that works. Yes. All right, come on. I want that little piece going up. This little piece going down. Look how cute this is. Oh my word, this is so fun. I'm going to take and work this in a little bit to this wispiness instead of covering it up. I'm going to try to work it in there. There you go. Now, don't fluff your bow too much because we still got pieces to put in. We're going to squash it. But that turned out perfect. Okay? And we really didn't cover up too much, so I'm happy with that. Now let's come in and add our pieces into the bow. So cute! I'm going to hold her. Now, you do have to be careful that you don't have too much going forward because she has a fat bottom and flat, so she is pretty stable, but if you start getting a bunch of weight this way, she may want to walk on you, okay? So, let's take, and I'm going to add some of my berries into the bow, and you are going to have some pieces left in the kit. Of course, you'll have plenty of ribbon, so you can make some little lantern swags or make some pieces to coordinate with this, with what you have left, and just kind of play. I'll put this berry in here, and you see I want to start to work them into the bow. And then it doesn't look like the bow's just put on there. It looks like the bow is part of the design. Let's come on this way. So we're not quite done. It's got a little more detail work to work in here, in between everybody. Keep working that coming out of that ribbon. All right, let's add a little bit of these greener pieces here. I can't wait to put that little mustard stuff in here, this stuff. Ooh, it's gonna be fun. Let's take this and work this in here. All right. I'm gonna put one coming out the bottom of the bow, which is kind of like this way. So we're gonna go under here and find the foam. And just push it in. I'm sorry if my head's getting in there. It's getting serious right here. Okay. Oh yes, that's perfect right there. You bring that out of there. That's cute. Isn't that cute? Let's put this little poofy part right there. And I got a little pumpkin too. Here. This little pumpkin. That's so stinking cute. Let's put that right in the middle. Y'all, this is so fun. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I'm so excited. And when we started the video, there were a few left of this kit, so you might still be able to grab one, but they may all be gone. A little bit more berries coming in. Now, for some of you, it's a hobby, and some of you, it might be a stress relief, but for me, it's business, but it's also my favorite thing to do. So I love being here with you, and without you guys being here and wanting to learn, I would have no one to teach it to. And you know, I love it. So thank you always for being here. Okay, and you can sit here and add as much as you want. Look at the perimeter. I look like I could use a little more right there. So I'm going to take this little wispy piece and put it out there. I'm going to take off the sunflower, and we'll save that for something else, but I could use a little more wisp out there. So step back from your piece and take a look at it and see, okay, what else can I do here to finish that look? All right, let me come in. I'm going to add this right here. This one kind of more in this area. Beautiful. Look how cute that is there now. Oh my gosh, y'all can have so much fun. Look how cute this is. We're going to make a super simple project. Of course, it's time for our simple project of the week. And we're going to be rocking out a fun pumpkin. This pumpkin is super cute, guys. It has like this mesh that's got a mossy color green on it. It's killer. That's going to be our background. And I'm going to show you how to take this kit. You're going to get the pumpkin, your filler, and your main pumpkin spray in there. All you'll need is some floral pins and your own little floral foam. And I've got my glue pot over here to the side, some glue. You can use a hot glue gun too. I prefer the glue pot. But we're going to have this kit available on the website, y'all. If you're here and you're enjoying this video and you're ready to have some fun, don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, of course. And if you want live alerts whenever new videos come out, or we have live videos or live sales, come and join us on our text list at 832-734-5201. Grab a spot on there. Just send us the word live. Okay, so this is a kit we have available in the shop, brand new. And what I'm going to do is we are going to be using this spray as filler. And this is going to be our focal point. This design's not going to have any ribbon, so we'll be working all here and making this wispy as possible. But we've got to take these big pieces and downsize them to make this piece work perfectly for your door. So we're going to take a little block of foam. This is probably like 3x3 block, and we're going to put it right in the center. It's a little thicker than I want it, so I'm going to slice that right out of camera in half a little bit. So it's not, I took a little bit less than half. I made it it was about that thick, and I took it and made it a little thinner. So that's going to go right here. And the way I like to attach these to my base is to use floral pins. And I've got some floral pins in this little bucket here. They're a U-shaped pin. I'm throwing them everywhere, guys. They look like this. They're a U-shaped pin, okay? And what we're going to do is take and put some glue on here. And I just get a good amount of glue in my glue pot, scrape it off the edge. And then you want to just wiggle this around really good right in here, okay? Then flip it around, and anywhere you can get in there and grab the frame of the pumpkin, we're going to push them in. Now, I liked it's kind of like a chicken wire on the front. I like that kind of on the front of the design. If you didn't like it, you could flip it and let it be on the back of the design. But I've chosen it this direction. And I'm not going to really add a hanger. I'm going to let the top of the pumpkin be a hanger. Okay, so I put all that on. I'm good to go. Now, if you wanted, we could put a little Spanish moss on the back. It's totally optional. All right, let's flip it around. And our base is prepped. But before we even get to go into town on that, we've got to take and trim this pick down into smaller pieces, and this too. So that's kind of the trick to this particular design, is even though you're going to get all of this in your kit, you may not be using it all. So the first thing I want to do is separate this into a couple of sections, and then I want that pumpkin on its own, okay? And I don't need the stems too long, but leave a couple of inches on there when it comes to the stem. All right. And I'm even going to take and section this out to where I get one of the leaves off here. Okay, so these are going to kind of be my background. I'm going to be using these right on either side. I'll be using that on one side and this on the other, but I've got to make both of these work for the whole design. So we're going to wait a little bit and put those in a moment. We're going to get a little bit of this filler bush on the back. So you've got to utilize each piece to make sure you're filling it out nicely. And this is a hand-wrapped stem. So when something's hand-wrapped, it's really easy to tear. So I'll just take and tear it down like that. It's kind of messy, but then it saves my hand from over-cutting. If you floral design a lot or you design to sell, you have to really watch over-cutting. I've had a couple of hand surgeries, and I don't want that to happen to you. But, you know, we've sold thousands of wreaths, and it adds up over time. Your hands will take a beating. So just trim off those ends, but this bush is still a little bit too big, but that's okay. Every floral bush can be kind of what I'm going to call dissected and brought down to smaller pieces, guys. So I'm going to take and break this into smaller sections. And as you do that, you can kind of sort them out and check if they have a ball or they have the wheat. This is just like we would do in design school when we break apart stems. We're going to utilize what we've got. I teach not to use pick machines. I try to maximize my production time so I can make things fast, efficiently, and also beautifully too. So my 25 years experience, I like to help you learn how to do this fast and easy. And y'all, if you ever want to take your wreath making to the next level, you know we'd love to have you in our design school class. It opens up twice a year, and you can grab a spot on the wait list at Keleas.com. And you can also go to KeleasDesignSchool.com to grab a spot. So you can see I'm breaking these down. I've got the ones that have the balls here, the wheat here. I got one more to go. And you're just taking them at their sections, and this one's a little taller, so it's got 3 cuts on it. So I cut it right here where it makes sense, and I still am left with a stem. So if I put a little bit of thought into my cutting, it can go a lot further for me. Okay, I love the bally parts. I want to use those towards the front, and we'll plan to use the wheat towards the back. So remember, I told you we're going to layer that. That's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to take the wheat pieces, and we're just going to work left and right here. I'm going to put this one to the left. And I kind of want to come over the edge of the design. I love that. We're going to make it nice and wispy looking. And we're just going to take our time. Now I'm going to take a little grass here and work to the inside. And we'll just start building out our design. We don't want it to be so full that we cover up all the pumpkin, but we want to have a nice wispy look. I'm going to push this in this side. Oh, that's looking good so far. Okay, and now I'm going to come out. A couple little shorter pieces up here to the top. See, it's a little bit shorter, but I'm kind of got 3 pieces lining up. And let's go on this side. Okay, easy peasy so far. You got it.
We've got 3 on each side. We got them nicely spaced out, and we've kind of got that flow going on each side. Now, grab your big pick where we have the 2 different sections. One has the fern, one has the leaves. And I'm going to take this section right here that has the 2 big silver dollar eucalyptus, and we're going to use those in the middle. So the fern's going to go on the right here. Just layer right on top the wispy ones. Beautiful. The white leaves are going on this side. We're just going to separate that out. How easy is this? This is what these projects are about. I want to get nice spacing and just make them go quick and easy for you. Now, because I've got all the white over here, no white over here, I want to mix that in and bring one of the white leaves over here. And we can tuck it, you know, behind the fern. It doesn't have to be so predominant, but I just want it over to the side. Now, I want to bring that wispy feel more to the center, so I'm going to get these pieces cut shorter so they're coming in the middle. I've got this one left. I'm going to just use this one kind of off the top a little bit. I'm going to see if I can cut them into 2 sections to make them just a little more wispy. Right in here. And you can get smaller and smaller, which is kind of the idea you want to do. Just leave you some of the firm part of the stem so you can push them in. All right, let's go to town with this. And this is just little small detail work. We're going to cut small and add them in. Now I'm going to want a little bit kind of coming down to the center also. Just a nice wispy look. Ah, perfect. You see those balls working in there? Those are so cute. So I'll trim this one off. Get these really super short on these stems, okay? Oh, there's a cute little wheat. And we want to work nice and wispy, letting it flow over. And keep getting shorter as we're going to the center. Okay, because we're going to be putting our big pumpkin in the center. And we want all these pieces kind of working their way in. I'm going to cut this one smaller. Kind of left a long stem. And then we'll have 3 little individual grasses here. It's a little tedious, but it does come together pretty quickly. Once you get everything kind of prepped, cut, and going. Oh, that looks cute. All right, let's keep working here. Towards the middle, I'm going to trim this one even shorter. We need these super short because we want them to keep decreasing in size. I love things that are wispy. I mean, it is totally my style. With the small twigs and branches. And, you know, I developed that style just surely because I had a lot of success with it. And, you know how it is. When something starts doing well, you start loving it because, you know, it makes you feel good when you're selling it. And that's kind of what's happened for a lot of my design school students. They find some recipes that they do well with, and they just want to continue growing in their design styles. Okay, I'm going to trim these even shorter as we come to the middle, and then we're going to come in a second and put our pumpkin in, and then just try to kind of work around it. Oh, those grasses are so pretty. Okay, let's come up a little bit right in here. This is just so sweet and so simple. If you want, let's take this one leaf and let's just use it. I'll bring that one down. I cut this leaf off, but let's use it kind of at the top. And then we'll get nice spacing on all 3 of our leaves. Push it in. One at the top, one at the bottom. I'm going to push it behind the grass. Ooh, I love it. I love it so far. And here's another little ball piece. Just keep working them in, around. Now, let's go ahead and work on our focal point of getting our pumpkin in right here. And I'm going to tuck her just a little bit off to the side, and then I'm going to add those berries right next to it. So it's not exactly completely centered. She's going to go right here, off to the side, and then we're going to take this berry spray. We're going to have that come in and down. All right, so this is a kit we have available. If you let us know in the comments if you would like a link to it, we'll be happy to get it for you. Oh, that looks great. Just popping in right there. It's so soft and sweet. And then bring these up a little bit. And now I'm going to work out this section. It's just easy and fun and sweet. And I know I'm always making big over the top pieces. This one's a little more soft and subtle. The only thing you're not going to get in the kit is the little block of foam. And I might use a little bit of Spanish moss to come in and cover any of the floral foam I can't see at the end, that I might be able to see on the edges here a little bit. But other than that, you're going to get all these floral stems and the pumpkin base in the kit. Oh, look at that. It's turning out so cute. Let me take this one and trim it just a little bit. We are almost there, guys. I know. I hope you're motivated to make one like this too. I hope you are. It is so fun. And these simple projects are also just great for shop fillers or gifts. Because anybody can find room for this guy. Well, at least in my world, I would make room. I would definitely make room. Let's put one little piece of wheat right there. And we'll make it just a little bit shorter. See if I can cut that grass just a little shorter. I'm going to try to get that to come right out of the center. Right here. Go ahead, buddy. Aha! Oh my gosh, I love it! So if you need to fill in to cover any of the little foam that might be showing, just pop a little Spanish moss in there. And then you are good to go. We did it, Blue Merinos. I hope you love it. I hope you love it as much as I do. This wispy fall door hanger is ready to hang on your door right now. And we made it under 15 minutes. That's our goal for simple projects. Under 30 minutes. We're even faster tonight. Hello and good to see you. I'll try to stay out of the way so you have good view of what we're doing. It was last summer we started kind of figuring out how fun at Wreath Makers Live it was to use simple paint sticks to mount things on. This is painted green because it's left from last summer. If I could do this again and I didn't already have these ready, I probably would paint it brown. The other day when I was creating this whole thing for you guys, we had done a floating design before, but it was a little more complicated, and I decided, you know what, if we just put this in the grapevine here, we can let the float occur on this wonderful stable base. So what I did is I just kind of weave this in a little. And you know what? This is just kind of like having a swag on a wreath. So I slid this in, and then I'm going to put this at the top. But you could make this like brown where it kind of disappeared. The green's fine too. So I'm just weaving that under. So it's actually pretty stable here. I'm going to get pretty even placement up and down. It's pretty stable, but I go ahead and wire it in just for safety because I over prepare. Y'all, my history of doing craft shows for so many years and people tearing stuff up and just they bring this up to you like this. Hello. They'll do it like this. They'll hold it by they're like, I would like this wreath. And they're holding it by the stem of the pumpkin. And you're like, ah, ah. So I panic, like I over-construct things sometimes, but it's good training anyway, so you're prepared. So I'm going to try to get that mostly to the middle. Take a look because these are going to be showing on either side on this design. So you know what, if it looks ugly, that's going to show. So kind of try to pick the prettiest side. Now I'm going to take some 18 gauge wire and we're just going to wire this directly to it. I also have a staple gun. I'll staple it in, and I'll staple and we'll wire it to it. This is just like overkill, but we're gonna do it anyway because I don't want anything falling apart on anybody or sliding around, especially if you ship your pieces. I think I have the short staples. Okay, that works good. I'm gonna staple one on each end. So I just did kind of a little figure eight. I'm just gonna tie that off. Okay, I'm just zigzagging this. This doesn't have to be pretty or anything because it's really not going to show. I love this stuff. I put a lot of thought in it. This isn't just me up here playing. I really put a lot of thought into this to make this really easy to describe to you and hopefully easy for you to implement. This comes off a big sheet of foam, okay? And I'm sorry that I don't have the big sheet here, but it's a long sheet. And I literally use every inch of that sheet. And then I'm going to just take, this is a little piece we cut off, and I'm just going to cut this enough where it goes between here and here. You don't need a whole ton of this because we're not going to have stuff flying off that high. We're going to put most everything right here in this middle zone. Okay, so let me get my knife out and we'll trim that down a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna cut about 4 inches off of this one. Nothing too fancy there. We're going to put this just right in this middle zone. Okay, so we've got lots of space to attach things. This is a little thin. If you are a beginner, I would cut this a little thicker because it's easy to break this foam if it's very thin, okay? So unless you're comfortable in knowing kind of how to put things where you don't tear this up and break it, cut this another 1/4 inch thicker, okay? Let me throw a little Gorilla Glue on here to be safe, just in case. Y'all, Gorilla Glue, I buy mine at Sam's Club. That's like a 3-pack. You do not have to get it there. You can get it at any craft store, Walmart. It's clear, it says Gorilla, it's liquid, okay? I don't like the Gorilla Glue hot glue, but I do like this one. And I use this in conjunction with the hot glue just to kind of get a more stable base. It's not necessarily that important when going to wood, but it is when we're going to metal or plastic or anything like that. I'm going to try to keep this centered, but I'll put my hanger on at the end. Now, I can't really dip this long strip, so you're going to see me just take glue and bring it to this. You'll notice I don't use a glue gun. We're going to just use a glue pot and bring the glue to our surfaces. I don't pull triggers. I've had a couple of different hand surgeries for over pulling triggers. So no triggers. You won't see me doing that. The most I'll do is cut, and I try to cut full handed if I can. Okay. So I'm going to turn this over, and then what I can do right now is hit any of this glue that's kind of exposed on the edges right here. I'm going to hit it with moss. So I'll just set it down, and it's laying flat on the table, and I'm going to hit that with moss right now so that I don't have to try to cover that up later. This is a chartreuse Spanish moss, and I'm just going to use it in little strips going along each side, okay? And I'm not going on the side of the foam. This is just on the back. I'm just putting this on the glue while it's wet so I don't have to come back and pin or stick any of that later. I use a lot of Spanish moss. It is messy. I don't care. It's my preferred natural look. And of course, that goes really great with boho because why not? It's nature. We're ready to start the fun part. And in this design, we're going to start off with the drama first instead of second. A lot of times we put our greenery first, but in this design, there's not as much greenery. We're using the pampas like a greenery, okay? So this one divides easily into 2 pieces. This is super long pampas, and we want to utilize the length of it, and it's got great staggering on the stem. So sometimes when you can find great staggering like this, it's going to save you work in the long run where you're not having to cut it and re-pick it. If you've ever taken a floral design class before, you may notice Kelea doesn't use a pick machine. I'm going to make cuts so I don't waste any steps with a pick machine, okay? All right, I'm coming in with my first piece of pampas. And this is going to kind of establish my height here, about how much height I want to have. So I'm going to go like right in here. So I'm going to use the side of the foam here to push in. You want to hear a nice little crunch, then you know you're in. So this is kind of shooting off to the side. Now, if I've got a place like here that's got a big chunk of glue, because I just used a lot, and I know it's going to need to maybe show, possibly it will show, I'll just cover it with glue like I would on a regular grapevine. Here's the other piece, and that's just going to flank right beside it. I'm going to take and cut this into 2 shorter pieces, and we're going to put them both on either side, okay, to break that up. Now on this design, what you need to know is it has a transition right in the middle. Just like on the one with the mauves and the white pumpkin, same transition zone, okay? Right in the middle. And what a transition is that's where things change direction, up and down. And beginning wreath makers or just less experienced wreath makers have a tendency to, that's the thing they have a hard time with. They kind of like, oh, I'll stick one there and I'll stick one there. But if you don't have a flow, it kind of makes your work look busy or messy. So we're going to start to establish our flow right now. This is up, so our next one will go down, and we're going to work opposite. Okay? What I try to do is just show you how to easily break up the piece into sections. And then you may have to shorten it or lengthen it. It just depends where you're going in, okay? Okay, so you see the angle is going to continue from each side, okay, from right to left. All right, I'm gonna come in up above here. What I've done on the top, I've done on the bottom roughly. Now remember, everything's wired and we can spread it out and space it around, okay? And get a little bit wider placement here to match. I don't have a hanger on here, so it might shift left to right, but we'll get a hanger on by the end. Let's go to our next step. We've got our pampas in. Now, one of the things we're going to use to kind of come out really long, the mint pumpkin spray that is going to be our first mint color that's going to go layer out over the boho, okay? And we're going to continue going opposite each other. So on this one, I'm going to leave it long and lanky, and we're just going to cut it right here, right below the last pumpkin. Sometimes we're going to want to pin into the foam rather than just stick it in, depending how much space we need. Now, I've done what we call shake hands with these sprays, and that means make sure the leaves are facing forward, make sure the pumpkins are facing forward, and everybody's nice and spread out. So this looks really pretty, laying right on top of the pampas. It needs to be shorter, so you need to be coming down. Let me show you guys what these are. If you're new, you may not know this is a floral pin. They're a little hard to see on camera, but it's a metal U-shaped pin. We're going to use that into the foam. The pins are a little bit longer than the foam, so I'll use them at an angle. You do need glue on that pin. We're going to get it in. I'm going to try to get my spacing right. I want it a little bit down. I want that same angle. Now we're going to pin at an angle to the foam. Just this one pin is not going to be enough because somebody could pull it and it will come right out. So that's just the start. It's going to hold it for a second. And now I'm going to come up here at one of the intersections where I've got a U right here, and we're going to pin down into it too. So I've got, you know, something to hold it also. I told you, those shoppers are going to come up with it, holding it by that little stem. And I'm going to have a panic attack. Okay, so we've got that flying up. We're going to do the same thing flying down. We're keeping them opposite. Let's shake hands again. Get everybody facing front and beautiful, looking pretty. Bringing them all forward. And I basically want pretty similar spacing. And we want to kind of start to get tighter to the center as we work back. So these should overlap slightly, okay? So I'll cut that in about the same placement. And we'll be pinning those in too. Okay, let me bring this over just a little bit. And you can adjust your space because the wire can bend, okay? Looks good. Let's pin this one in. Let's get this one in. All right, I'm going to bring it in right here. Hold the first one in. Okay, and then I'm going to need another one up here to keep this from falling. Look at the drama. Ooh, yes. Next up is sunflowers. We're going to use these gorgeous sunflowers. Now, I'm always on the fence about keeping the leaves on. We're going to leave them on right now. I may take them off, though, okay? The reason is, guys, the more leaves you have on the stems that are going on, that are going in the project, they kind of fight with the other greenery and things. So sometimes you'll see me pull the leaves off. We're going to have one of these kind of popping right above, right up here. Oh my God, so pretty. Number one, sunflower going up, smiling, looking pretty. Make sure you get a good curve on that stem. We want it popping out at your face, okay? One of the keys to making designs like I do, and maybe they're not for everybody, but I am big into depth, okay? Because if you sell your pieces, you can get more money for things with depth, and they just look more engaging when you look at them. So look how far that sunflower comes forward, okay? Think about it, okay? Pretty. So this is over to the side, this is up high. Okay, next sunflower's coming down right here. We're going to have two sunflowers on the top and on the bottom. This is fairly matchy-matchy to some extent. And we're going to trip you up at the end. Well, that's the plan, unless I go off course. I'm going to take two leaves off and leave one on. Okay, isn't the mint pretty? It is so pretty. And this is what really it's got this, I don't know what you want to call it, like a watercolor type look. It's so fun. Okay, so this one's going to be a little bit shorter, tucked in a little bit. I want it a little bit lower, right in here. Okay? It is so pretty. It's like a green and mint. Actually, I had to lose the leaf because I needed it so short. I had to cut below the leaf. Okay, so no leaf on that one. Isn't it pretty? It has a little touch of green, but it just mixes so well with that mint. and I'm pushing into the foam. I want to hear a nice crunch. Make sure it's going in and you're not just getting the edge of the foam. Go in. Okay, so high and low. Now we're going to repeat this below, low and high. Okay, so opposite, opposite. All right, everybody got that one? We're going to work opposite on the bottom part. Y'all, I better see floating wreaths breaking the internet. These are so stinking pretty. Let's come on down. I'm going to pull a couple leaves off. And we can probably leave one leaf. Okay, so I'm going opposite, so this will be a little bit longer. I want to just bring it up here and play with it. Okay, I'm happy with that, so that means I need to cut it right about here. So you're going to have to hold it up to your piece and kind of get an idea. Because I want it to swoop out, I got to cut it a little bit longer because I need to make that little bit of a bend in it. Opposite, so now we're going to come across. We're going to work opposite, and this will be shorter, right in here tucked into our pumpkins. Okay, now you could spread out these pumpkins, but I'm kind of keeping them on this side because we've got another little pumpkin we'll be tucking in the middle a little bit, okay? Sunflower number 4, cutting it short. Losing the leaf. No leaf on this one. Okay, open that head up a little bit, just getting in there and pushing it back. Give it a nice curve, and now I'm going to tuck in here, opposite. Oh my God, it's so pretty. I'm just getting so excited. So you can see we made this little pocket in here, and it's very clear where the transition is right now. You're kind of looking at an angle right now, but this, if we need to, we'll be filling in here. Okay? So pretty. Let me bring this one over just a little bit to get that angle just a little bit more matchy. Okay, I like that these are not straight facing forward. They're kind of out. Big Beautiful is still a B. And it's very chunky, but I like it. It doesn't really shed. Really nice. It's artificial, like all the other cool stuff. And I want to use this kind of just tucked in here right by Mr. Sunflower, either here or I can run it on the outside. Either way, I kind of like it up the middle. I like it up the middle. So I'm going to cut this a little shorter, about 4-inch stem. And then we're going to start to lay these in. Now, I was thinking we would do this a little asymmetrical, where we would use maybe 1 on the top and 2 on the bottom, just to kind of throw it off a little so it's not quite so matchy. So I think that would be fun. So let's run the first one right in here. Let's get this in and put it on in. I went ahead and I'm going to try to put this one into the foam. If we need to, though, we can always take and pin it. No, it's going in good. So it's going to shoot right in here, right behind that pumpkin. Oh gosh, that's so pretty. I mean, the sunflower. Okay. Now let's bring this up. I want to come in the bottom. Now I'm going to put 2. We're going to use 1 opposite, okay, right in here, going opposite that. But it's going to be tighter to the center. So that'll be our first piece. So I'll take and just cut this really short. The best time to try this is fall because it just lends itself to the textures of the season, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just an easy transition. Now I think we'll have a little more difficulty trying to get this look, to pull off this look in winter or Christmas mainly. But you know what? Maybe we will. Maybe we'll try a little bit too. Now, here's my third one. This is where we're going to do our triangle. 1, 2. So the third one needs to come down here, probably behind the pumpkins or a little bit longer. Something like this, or we can make it shorter. So I'm going to start by cutting it right here. So I'm looking at my lines here. 1, 2, 3. I need to decide how far I want it back, or if I want it down, or do I want it up tight right there? Okay, so we can play with all 3. Let me bring it down a little. Gosh, this is so pretty. The other option is I put it up high where it comes out the top of the transition point. You can see I'm still making a triangle. So I'm going to leave that up to you, what you like best on your piece. I kind of like this coming up here. So it's a little bit more opposite than this, but I'm still getting a triangle. Okay? So we're going to pin it in right here where it just goes right underneath. You guys, have fun with yours. Try it whichever way you want. This one was kind of calling to me right here. So I'm going to try to push this into the side of the foam. And just get that going up right there. really pretty. And you can give these a little more motion forward, whatever you want to do to space it out. I need to get a little moss on that. Now we're ready to put our main piece in the middle, which is a velvet pumpkin. And the nice thing about this dude is he's going to cover up all of this area. Oh my gosh, and I just love this little pocket we made for him. Once he's in, we're going to pop in a couple little bit of pumpkins around him and just kind of make this a nice tight cluster in the middle. So here I'm taking a pin and I'm just taking and pushing it through a couple of pieces of the velvet here. Oh, it's not velvet. What is this? Yeah, velvet, I guess. Okay, so I pinned it through. It's a U-pin going through the velvet. And I'm going to get my first pin in, and I like to pay attention to the stem when I'm putting pumpkins in. Okay? I'm going to put it right here. So I'm going to put the first one in. I'm getting glue on it. And I like my stem kind of kicking out. And we'll push that into the foam. Oh my gosh, that's so perfect right there. It's just snuggled up right in there. Look how cute that is. Okay, now tucking in around that, I got a couple of smaller velvet pumpkins with some pretty leaves. And we're going to use those to kind of cover up all the mechanics and just pop in right here beside the still bee. So I'm going to put this one in right here low. Okay, let's push that one in. And this one has some cute little berries. I'm going to use that in there. Just tuck it in. And we want to use the leaves to soften it up. Look how pretty. All right, now let's go on the top. And let's put this one in. This is another one. And we're going to just kind of go a little bit opposite right here. Not too matchy-matchy, but right in here. Tucking it in right here. A little bit behind at a little bit of an angle. Okay, and I'm going to try to get it a little bit further back. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I'm loving it. You guys see it? Look at, ah, so pretty. I need to pin this one in, okay? I did not pin it in yet. So on this one, the idea was to get that center tight instead of one big pumpkin, using several. So I'm putting glue on my floral pins, and then I'm making sure I'm grabbing it in a couple of places, not just one or it will pull out. You need one through the stem and one over the main stem. I just hope you're trying some of these just different things than we normally, this is just so different than we normally do, and we're trying different styles, different techniques, just to kind of, you know, come out of our comfort zone. All right, now I want to come in the center here and just add just a little bit of berries. These are white berries, and I'm going to use them in here to soften and just break the plane a little bit of all these hard lines of the pumpkins, okay? Because we have that foam behind, I'm going to tear this and keep these really long. When you do that, you're going to get lots of little pieces right here with long stems, and we can make this really work to our advantage. I'm hoping just to use one stem of this to really make this pretty. Y'all know we're going to have to make more of this gorgeous, pretty color in design school. Oh, so pretty. All right, let's start right here. Remember your transition points. So if we're going down here, we got to be going down with the berries too. They're not going to shoot out. They're going to work down. We're just going to start to soften this all around the center. Okay, let's come in here. Cream, I've got 1, 2, let's put one more on that side. I'm going to try to get this up a little bit and this out. Okay, let me put just a little bit more here kind of coming out. I'm going to go a little bit higher, okay, so it looks like it's cascading. I'm just trying to fill in this gap between here and here. We've got everything ready to release to you guys as soon as we're done. And then tonight's project will also have a supply list, okay? All right, let's go to the other side, and we'll keep adding just little bits of berries in there. This is called detail work. We use a little detail work. It takes a little time, but we use this to add, once again, the little bit of texture and breaking the plane between the two the hard lines of the pumpkin and the sunflower. So I'm at the transition, so now this goes up, okay? Oh my gosh, this is so pretty. Okay, I'm gonna try to put one more like right here, coming up. And on these, I'm just filling in, kind of bridging the gap between the lines of the pumpkins and then coming over to the cream campus here. Just kind of going in between with all of these. Definitely not symmetrical, just whimsical and fun. The main thing you got to think about when you're doing this, you want to stay with those transition points, okay? And then I really say there's no rules except for that. Okay, let me take a step back and look at it. Oh, I want to tuck this in just a little bit more. All right, and I need a little more. I've got a hole right here, so I'm going to put a couple more in there. You know, I think it's turned out really lovely, so different. I just can't wait to see how this style goes for reselling. I'm excited about it. But I think it's really attractive visually, so I don't think we have to worry about it selling. It really looks good. Okay, I've got a nice cluster there. 1, 2, 2, 1. I think maybe let's have one more go down. Right here down. Just to bring that little bit of berry line down. Well, we needed something to soften all the pumpkins. We could have done it with the greenery also. That turned out so pretty. I love to work with pre-made bases when I can, especially if I'm on a crunch and I need to be stocking my Etsy store quickly. And this one comes on a called angel vine base. And I love that all these florals are ready to go and easy to work with. On another video, we've showed you how to hand tie the bow we're going to be using on this. But with these two ribbons, we're going to add a little bit of a tail into this design too. Another thing that we're going to be using today is some gorgeous pampas grass. So we're going to get started by creating our base first. The hanger's built in, and you can see the nice angel vine base. It's super easy to work with, really quickly to build up your design. What I like to do is I do like to use the bow in the top region, but I want it to be a little bit not at the tippy top. Like I like to have florals above it. So I use a matching pick. This is more of a spray. It's a little bit longer. It's got the same florals, and I'm going to shake hands with it just like we have to do with everything we use in design school. When I'm teaching our class every week, we talk about manipulating the florals because we want to make sure that you're paying for nice, good quality. You want to make sure you manipulate it to make it look really good. Here, I'm going to take and cut it down enough to where it can still get into the base, but we don't need all this extra stem. Probably about a 7 or 8 inch stem. Cut this off, and then we'll see if we can go ahead and work it in and go right here at the top. You know, building inventory for your shops. Now that one's in where I like that spacing. You see I left a little area in here. We would call that the bow zone, right in the middle. We leave that open so we have some space for that bow to go into, and she can sit in the design rather than just going on top. We do both, but in this case we're gonna let her sit in. I think I'm gonna use a combo of glue and cable tie. So let's get a little glue on the stem and put her in. Kind of do that a lot. Like if I feel like the glue is gonna hold, we just go with glue, but I think sometimes the combination is just perfect because I want to be able to control her a little bit more. So I'm going to go right here. She's got a hanger behind. I'm just going to tie her back to her hanger a little bit with the cable tie. Now when you tie onto a hanger, you have to think about, if I sell this, when I sell this to my customer, they're going to easily still be able to hang it straight off that hanger. So make sure where you're putting the cable tie doesn't disrupt that. Now I'm doing that to kind of pull this back a little. There we go. And we won't be able to see it. I used a brown cable tie, so it's totally hidden in there. And now I've got the glue holding it, but also I've got that back up the cable tie. I like both. This particular leaf, I think I'm gonna try to bend over a little bit and come over this way because I'm trying to keep the bow zone open. Now we're not going to put the bow into the end, but I want to start working on our pampas. It's a beautiful fall swag, but we're going to take it to the next level. Take your pampas, we're going to use those wires we talked about and kind of spread this all out. Give it some dimension. You can see I'm trying not to make it flat like a big feather like a headdress or something, I want to have them like a little bit more movement. And we're going to put our first piece in, going over here to the right, and this one can reach the grapevine base, or the angel vine base. So I'm going to I don't even need to trim it or anything. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a swirl in the glue. We're going to have this one kind of come off to the right. Now, it's glued into the base fine. I want you to take and manipulate it a little in. I want to see it work around the pumpkins. So a couple of pieces will come up. Remember, the bow will be here, but that will be pretty. Now, I like to teach not matching on the midline a lot of times on a design. Like, we want to stagger one higher and lower. That seems to look more natural. So I'm going to go up a little bit this way, where this piece will go a little higher. So this one's lower, this one's higher. Now, it can't reach the grapevine in the background, so I'm going to attach it with cable tie. So remember, we attached this stem to the back. That works great because now we can just go right on it. Super stable. Use your cable tie. Put it on nice and tight. It's right there. All of that mechanics will be hidden by the bow in a little bit. So one of those will work. Shape this out a little bit in the foreground, and we're going to mix that in. And that's a trick we're always working on with design school because it helps you have a higher perceived value when you get ready to sell your work. Okay, so the top's done. Looking good. Let's do the bottom. We have high and low, and then we have to shift direction. That's called a transition point. And when you learn how to floral design, there is transition points that occur all the time. So we've got one right here. So we're going to shift directions and start to work these in opposite each other, kind of working down the base. So I need to trim it down a little. It's a little bit long. I'm going to take a couple inches off, and we're going to work with this one on that side first. Okay, so I'm going to work away from me a bit. I'll give that a swirl. And we have 3 pieces here to work down this entire base. So I'm going to push this in. I want to feel it go into the angel vine really good. And that's just what the base is made of. And then I want you to take and utilize these wires. So some will go to the front, some will go to the back. I want to bring some greenery up. So you can see how we're already, like, we're upscaling this big time with just these simple, beautiful pampas that we're putting in. All right, so our next piece will come down a little. It's going to work opposite this one a little bit down. And I'm still shaping it right up. And swirl it in my glue pot, and we'll put it right in just a little bit lower. So we get nice spacing, nice placement. I'm going to work that in right under the sunflower and just push it in. Okay, and spread those beautiful wires out. I mean, that's why we're not buying this stuff from big box stores. When we're buying good quality florals, it's going to be quite a different quality, and your manipulation ability of it is going to be next level. And then our last piece is going to kind of come on the other side. And this time I'm going to take and I am going to cut them down even shorter. So a little bitty stem. And then we're going to put this one in on the other side, kind of coming down to the middle. All right, so I'm just going to take and hold them all in because it's shorter. I don't want to get it in my glue. Well, that's a great way to get burned, having that in the glue. We don't want that. This comes in over here, and then I want to manipulate those berries on top, some of this underneath. So the advantage of starting with a pre-made base is you can see how quickly we can pull this together, and I can start to work on all the techniques and mechanics I'm learning. But see how beautiful she is? And we're not even done yet. Now I'm going to come up here. She's going to go in that bow zone we were talking about. I'm going to pop it right into here. And I'm going to get her nice and tight. But even if you're not looking to make and sell or anything like that, and you just want to make some pieces for your home, these are easy to complete and do, and they're fast. But they're not like anything you're going to see anywhere else. I work really hard to have products that are different, styles that are still trending but a little bit different, so you can feel like you've got something special for your home. Or you can make these as a gift for a Thanksgiving party you're going to. These can stay up all season. So as I'm putting that bow in, I'm kind of manipulating my cute little leaves around, and I like those tails going up and down. Isn't that gorgeous? She is so pretty with all her pampas and her sunflowers. And then this is that really cool silver dollar eucalyptus with the red. That's always so popular. Beautiful. It's up to you if you want to do this next section, but I thought it'd be fun to give a tail coming out the bottom, kind of weaving in as we went down. You don't have to, but I think we're going to do that to add a little pizzazz. You're going to grab your rolls of ribbon and just decide, okay, how much do I want coming out? You know, how big is my door? Would I like a couple of tails coming out either side? You can do that. or we're just going to do one really pretty tail kind of curling out the middle. So I'm going to do it about, let's do it about 12 inches long, maybe 16. Let's go 16, a little bit longer. So that's going to be my tail. All right. We can put these aside. You're still going to have some more ribbon to play with. So you can make yourself, you know, some bows to go on your mailbox or at your front door. Now I'm going to go ahead and dovetail both of these so we get a nice little finished look on the ends of them. And we pop this in our swag. And then when you just want to make like a little additional tail to go in something, all you have to do is kind of pleat it up like this. And then you can just take and cable tie this right into your piece, okay? Or you can take and tie it, use a cable tie and tie it to one of the little pieces of the wires we cut. That might be easier to get in and all around this. So this is like one of the pieces of the wires we cut. Just take that, cable tie it to it. And all of a sudden you've got like a little section of ribbon on a piece of wire. It didn't cost you any extra. You already had the rolls. You already had the piece left. Trim this tail off, this side off. All right, so it looks like this. Okay. Now, I like to put a little glue here because I'm always trying to make things that can hold the test of customers. That comes from 18 years of craft shows and learning that people are going to grab stuff and they don't understand how it could be fragile. So for me, I think this would go in cute right about here, kind of coming down. So I'm going to cut it a little shorter. It's a little bit longer than we need, but better be longer than too short, right? Then we'd have to take it apart and do it again. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick that in the glue pot, get some glue on it. And let's just tuck her in that pumpkin, underneath this pumpkin right here, and push her into that angel vine. You should feel it go in nice and tight. Beautiful. And that little tail can just kind of work its way out, coming down to the side. And if you want to have more or less of those, you can take and kind of give it a little motion. It has wire in it, so you can wiggle it just like that. Isn't that fun? It's super cute, guys. So Bloomerinos, you can try this type of design and play with it. I hope this inspires you to make something beautiful for your home this fall. Bloomerinos, we're excited to play with our fun pumpkin base. This one is dimensional. It's got this cool curve to it, which just makes it look so much more realistic and fun. And I, of course, love that. And you can see our florals we have over here to the right. We're going to be using all blue and orange and kind of pick up the background color that's in this one. Striking. It's going to look so great on your front door. So I'm going to take you step by step how to make it. We are going to be making a bow too, and there'll be another video for the bow so you can get access to that as well. This is floral foam. We're going to use a bit of that up here. That's how we're going to attach all these fun florals. So I've got like a 3x3 block. It's about 2 inches deep, and I am putting that over here in my electric skillet, getting some glue on it as you see, and then I'm going to scrape that off to some extent. I want to leave a good coating, like a nice brownie icing, but not too much. Now remember, this is hot glue. It still can burn you. It's dangerous, so I want to be very careful. I'm going to put that right here to the top of my pumpkin, and then I use these little wire pins. They're called U-pins or floral pins, and we're going to put those in here to help secure this. So you need these as a backup. The glue is great, but you need these grabbing the wire frame of the pumpkin, so you're going to see me grab that just for security. I'm always making my things to sell, and I love to teach you how to sell as well, but you need to know how to make things that hold up well. So when I'm teaching you from experience. We don't want them falling apart, okay? Over the long haul, we want them staying together nicely. So I'm going to put, let's just 3 of these pins in. And you might want to flip it over and get a couple more from the back. Let's do 4. The more the better, so it stays in there securely. And it doesn't pop off. Look at this. This is fantastic. Boom. Okay, they're in. Now, our florals we're working with today are going to be this gorgeous peony that's a really beautiful blue. We've got some pumpkin spray. This is just a really fun spray. They're very whimsical on there. A blue filler, and then a orange and cream filler. So that's our whole mix. For this design, I really want one side to cascade down more and a smaller amount on the other side. So in order to achieve some balance, we're going to start off with these pumpkins first and kind of set what we want to be the dramatic part of the design. So I know I want these kind of coming off to the side, so I'm going to grab my wire cutters over here,
And we're going to take off one section in this part right here. I'm going to pull it back just a little bit and then cut it. And we'll keep this for another part of the design. I'm going to use that somewhere else. We're going to pull that off, but I want these two pieces to kind of get the party started over here. And you'll notice one's a little longer than the other, but I can use their very long wire and attach them to my foam, no problem up here. Okay, so one's kind of going out to the side, one's going out to this middle. Now, it's important that you kind of think about where these pieces are going. This is how I teach guys in design school. I want you to know it's important for your depth, your dimension, your movement of your design to think about how far am I going to go out. And we call that setting the perimeter in design school, and we usually do that with greenery. But today we're going to kind of start it off with pumpkins because they're long and lush, and they're kind of our fun part of this. So I'm going to take and pin this into the top of the foam. So you don't always have to poke into the foam. You can use floral pins and pin things in. So I'm going to do that right here and pin these in. You got to use glue to hold them, okay? So we'll get a couple of pieces in to hold that nice and tight. And I'm going to put them on the bottom right here. Oh my gosh, look at that. So awesome. Okay, let me put this one in here. I got a couple pieces and he's in. All right. Now we're going to build on top of that, and I am going to start off with these peonies. They're going to fill up some territory in here. Now, I do not want to use their greenery because I've got my other greenery picked out. So anytime you want to save that greenery for another project, you just push it down on your bush, just like this. And listen, I can come back to that anytime if I want that greenery for something else, but I want to cut these stems as long as they'll let me. So just push those leaves down and trim them. Because we need some length for this one we're doing right now. Because I told you we're going to make a kind of a cascade. So I'm going to start it with these. So let's take one of these and give it some movement that way. Since we're kind of going on that type of curve, give it a curve to match that. And let's put that one in. Everything needs to go in the glue before it goes to the foam or it won't stay, okay? So our first piece is going in. Now let's have one that's a little bit longer. Now to get down here, I can't go into the foam, but I can go into the base of the pumpkin where these, like the indentations in the pumpkin are. I can push right into there. Oh, so perfect. That one can go there. I'm gonna have him curve that way too. Everybody's gonna curve back. Now my third one's gonna come up here a little bit right into this zone. So we get a pretty one curved in there. Oh, perfect. All right, so we've kind of set our perimeter with pumpkins and flowers to start us off. See how pretty already? I'm telling you, this is going to be pretty. Now, let's take our other pumpkins, and we know we want those to be on the other side. We want to kind of balance it out a little bit. So I'm going to take these, and these need to be shorter because we want that side to be long and this side to be short. We're going to take these, grab them, and push them in my left side of my foam and get them started, okay? Add a little balance. I also have to think about the weight of a design. I can't have too much heaviness without some over here, but we're going to kind of trick the eye by letting this go down longer and this be a little shorter. So now let's take these two pieces and have them one come in to the center tight, like right here, a little bit higher than this one so they're not at the same level. We'll pop that one in. You guys, if you enjoy the way I'm teaching here and this design, we'd love to have you in design school. We teach you how to make floral designs, the fundamentals of what we're doing. Of course, we have the step-by-steps for every project, and we have supply list discounts for our students on our supplies. But you also get the mentorship of Kelea and her team, and also you get fabulous community of other designers who are doing the same things that we're doing here. And that is super valuable because they can help too for you to learn how to do these things step by step. Now you can see it, we set a great foundation, haven't we? We set our perimeter with our pumpkins, we came back with our focal pieces of our beautiful blue peonies. And we may not use all these, and that's okay, those can be for another project. But I'm ready to get some of our filler flowers in here to add that softness. We're gonna start with our blue bush. This has the beautiful greens and blues. It is a gorgeous bush. And we're gonna start off by pulling these two clusters down. And I'm gonna leave that main stem long because I want something long to reach way down there. So pull that out and you're gonna have some nice smaller pieces to put in a second. All right, but let's focus on getting this one down into the action down there. So let me lay this down into the pumpkins and the peonies. Ooh, that would be a perfect length. So I'm just gonna trim it right here. And just pull off any of that paper, and we'll hide the rest here with all of our fun stuff coming in. All right, and I'm going to put this in. I'm going to try to put it under my other stem since some of the paper came off, and that way I can hide it. Oh, perfect. Where there's a will, there's a way, guys. Bring this around. I want that peony to stay right where it's at, and we'll put that blue around it. Beautiful. Now let's have a little bit shorter in there. And I'm going to use these pieces right here. Now that did come unwrapped a little with the paper, but you don't worry about that. Just take one of your wires, wrap up your cluster, and then just cut it even, okay? Where it's all nice and even stems. I'm going to cut that over the trash so that they go into the trash. You see how the nice cut I got? Now I'm going to take and put that into my glue pot. And we're going to put that right in here close to the front and let this just kind of come out. Oh, pretty. So we've got some of the greenery here kind of tucking into the base. I love that. Now we need some of that blue on this side. So we've got all of this left. That one spray had quite a bit on it. I love those. So many different fun textures. Now I'm going to pull, if you ever see something like this on a stem, it's just a support piece from the mold. You just pull that off. If it's like a little pokey thing, sometimes those are left, especially on these fern pieces, you'll see them. Same thing, twist that around, make your own little cluster, and then trim it off. Easy. All right, let's come over here to the side, and I'm gonna get it in the glue, and this is gonna come through these pumpkins right here, and really soften that up, come down and around. Oh, so pretty, so pretty. Now, before we put anything else in, we're ready to put our bow in now. So I know you're excited about that. The bow is going to go in, and then we'll fill in with the orange. So our bow we made is super cute. We have the video for you guys to learn how to make this. Look how cute this is. Isn't it great? And this is going to go right here, just dead center in the middle. Oh my gosh. This formal look of this bow goes great with this traditional design where we've got it lower and higher. It just works excellent. So I'm going to take and tie this cable tie in the back. We're going to put that onto a floral pin, because we're going into foam here. So we'll be able to push this pin right into the foam. So I'm going to put that really tight, trim it off, and now we're ready to put that right in. And I'm going to go a little bit lower instead of higher. I'm going to go a little bit lower on the foam because we're going to still put floral and stuff here at the top. Oh gosh, this is a perfect bow for this design. Turned out great. Now let me get some glue on that pin. Just bring it right to my pin. And we'll put it in. I'm going low on the foam, like we talked about, right in the middle. We're going to shape that out. Bring some of those tails below and above. You want both. Cutie patootie. Look at her shine. She is shining. So now let's grab some of our orange florals, and we're going to add in these for dimensions. So I just take and tear this bush down also, and we'll do that, and we'll get several clusters here. And then I'm going to trim all those off so they're nice and neat. And we could use these throughout the design. I left that one piece longer. You know why, because we need to get down here to the longer party, where the longer part is happening. So on this side, we're staying long and low. So I'm going to take and put some glue on it. And we're going to pop it in down here so she can shine all over here. She's going to kind of run to the outside a little bit, but we're going to take and bring that peony right through her. Isn't that perfect? Oh gosh, so beautiful. Now I'm going to work on the other side. And we'll have another piece just kind of matching where we put that. Once again, we're shaking hands just like we do in Design School. We are manipulating all the pieces right in here. And we're going to have this come out to this side, and I'm just going to bring that peony right in front, tuck that. And then let's have a little bit of orange kind of come out in the front. Let me grab our longer piece here. This one can run out the front of the bow, maybe to the left this time. How about a little pop of orange on the left? Now you're going to be adding pieces. Oh gosh, that's perfect. Adding pieces in here to the bow still. So don't worry about that. That's not all covered because we've got to add all this. Now this little piece of grass is a little too long for the bow. So we use this over on the right side where we've got a little bit more going on. So I'll put some more in here. That's perfect. Now, we've got these fun little blue sprays that we're going to put into the center. I'm going to cut these shorter because we want these to work in right up here by the bow. And I love to have one low and one high, so let's put a high one here. Oh gosh, that is perfect coming out of the bow. And let's do a low one right in the middle. You can even cut it shorter because it's going really tight to the bow. We'll get some glue on that. This is a striking pumpkin. By the time we're done with it, it's going to look good. Let me get this wire in here to the glue. There we go. Perfect. And just tuck that right into the top of the bow coming out. Fluff it up. We have a little bit of orange left and a little bit of fern, so don't let any of this go to waste. Put it right in to the top in here, because we want to really make this look wispy around the bow. If you get a glue string, just grab it off there. Try to eliminate them from the beginning by going around your bamboo stick or your dowel rod that stays in your glue pot. I like that because it keeps the glue strings to a minimum. But don't forget to take that off because it could potentially cause a fire hazard. So don't turn off that glue pot if you're not working with it. Make sure you're turning it off for safety. Look how pretty this is as we tuck all in. Now, if you have any little gaps where potentially my customer could see the foam in the background, I will cover that with Spanish moss, okay? But look how this just came together. These last few pieces really tied the bow in, and I love it. It's turning out so cute. I want to put those little ferns there right in top of this. Look how cute it is. So you can see all our supplies here. And this one we've got for you, we're going to use this lush velvet pumpkin with some harlequin, some beautiful berries, and of course the best greenery that's got a mix of that rustic with the green and kind of like fall is coming. I love that combo. So we're going to work and put this design together. I think you're going to love it. So let's start off with our greenery. We're going to use it first. I love it when there's a good greenery because that means we're going to start with the greatest base. With this one, we're going to start off by just pulling these off the bush. Hey, you little moss jumper. And you're going to work with an 18-inch wreath base on here because I want this one to be big and bold. And we'll take these and just trim them off. You don't have to keep a long stem on them, just a good size. And we're going to pull all of these off, y'all. And while we're cutting these off, I think we should have a little story time. Y'all, this season we've learned so much as we're coming into the new school year, and Kaya's getting older and the new school year is starting. And we had a lot of personalities on our volleyball team this year. So she quickly got to learn how to be diplomatic and how to basically deal with difficult personalities who are put in leadership roles. And sometimes that's hard, you know, when you want to get great feedback from them, but you don't, but they're put in the leadership role. So, you know, sometimes I learn even from my 14-year-old how to have you know, patience and compassion in different situations, and really work towards dealing with that. So don't underestimate what you can learn from a kiddo, ever, or a friend, or another family member. You never know what kind of patience they're having to have to deal with in that situation. Now, I cut this all up, and we're going to make some little clusters with it and get some good distribution on our wreath base. So I just kind of got it all here. And I'm going to do a C-shaped design. So that means that I'll have florals cascading up and down as we go around this base. So let's put our greenery in first. All right, we got our first piece in. Now, whenever I'm putting this in, I also am going to support it with a little bit of Spanish moss and around that glue. I love doing that. My design school students are going to tell you, Kelea loves moss, and it's true. I do. I love moss, and it helps stabilize my pieces in here. It always does. And you don't need a lot, just a little every time you put it in.
first 3 in. Now I'm going to work my way down, kind of work beside that. Have you guys been to see any new movies lately? The neat thing about the summer is there's always new movies coming out. The summer blockbuster season. You have to tell me what you've enjoyed the most if you've been to any. So when we're not traveling to do volleyball, I am all keen to know what is good in the theater. Okay, you see that? It's looking pretty good. Let's get a close-up. Yeah? What do you think? Pretty cool, all that dimension. That's just a few pieces in. All right, let's keep working on the bottom part. And if you want, you can take the longer pieces, kind of use them where they're going to come off more. You may hear it rocking and rolling. The rain is coming, which my garden always never complains about the rain. It loves that rain. Yeah, in design school, we've been just rocking out the fall. I love that. We started that earlier in the season, and I love that we're getting ahead and just having so much fun with different color combos. And this wreath is really special because we are going to use it to transition from fall to Halloween, or if you wanted to go Halloween to fall, you could do that too. Don't forget, when you're putting these in, you're always going into the grapevine. We're not going to the back, we're sticking it in. So it's got more than the glue holding it. It's got the tension from the friction being created by all the different swirls of the grapevine coming in here too. And that really helps it hold together nice. Okay, we've got a good shape going. Let's go a little bit more. I love this. So far, so good. And we'll be filling it with some more greenery in a little bit. I just want to get a nice foundation. In our design school class, we call that first step creating a perimeter, and we're kind of doing the same thing here. We're creating a perimeter to where our design is going to go inside the boundaries of this greenery. I think I'd like to go a little further around the bend up over there, but let's close up again. Look. Oh, see it? See all the angles? Yeah. It's going good so far. So let's come in a little bit higher. And I'm going to bring one piece in up here. We're really getting that in. Love that. Let's put that between there. Yes. This greenery is one of those it's very plasticky, but they just do a great job painting it. That I love using it. And it has that little bit of brown, that little bit of light green, like the weather's cooled off a little bit, and those sugars in those leaves are making those colors change. It's kind of fun, it's so fun. I like that because we want this to be a fall to Halloween design. I want it to feel like, oh, things are changing. You know, something wicked this way comes. Oh! Time to get a little creepy, a little scary. I'm gonna go a little longer right here. Okay. I think we're doing pretty good. Now, I've got some pieces left because we'll want to put some more greenery and fullness in once we get our pumpkins and our berries in. But I think we got it. So guess what? Next step, grab your pumpkins. Your pumpkins are going in next. With these stems, they're already kind of separated into 3 great little sections. So I don't have to cut them down too much to make things happen. But I do want to kind of control the length of my placement. So I'm going to take, and I am going to leave these 2 bottoms together, and we're going to cut off the top one. So I'm going to cut that one, and then cut off this one right here. And you can see I'm getting right into that little section right there to cut it. Maybe I am. Psych! There we go. So there are these, okay? So you got 2 and you got 1. We're going to do that with all 3 stems. I love these. I love things that aren't curly stems. So I'm going to take my stem and we'll trim it here with just kind of about a 4-inch stem, and then I'm going to come in here, cut that, and there we got our 2 sections again. Yep, we're doing it 3 times. 3 times, 3 times. Here comes our 3rd one. Cut that top one off and cut these bottom ones off. So there they are, all right? Now it's time to go ahead and put these in here. And I'm going to start off with one that has the 2 stems together. We're going to kind of put that into this section right in here, okay? So let's take it, just hold it. In design school, I teach them just to use the pencil method, hold it like a pencil, swirl it in the glue. Y'all, I told you we're going to get a thunderstorm, you hear it? It's the best time to be crafting with you, when it's about to rain. All right, let's go right in here, and I'm just pushing that in the grapevine. You see, one's a little higher, one's a little lower. I love that. Now come in with your moss, and I'm going to go over that glue. Can you see that glue right there? There's glue right there. And I'm going to take my little moss ball, and we're going to go right over it. And guess what? That hides that whole little gluey part and looks very neat and clean, okay? Now my next piece, I'm going to go up a little higher and out with my next stem, okay? That's going to be one of the single ones. And I think it would be fun if she kind of came down a little bit, if she had a little movement to her. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put some little glue on there. And when I'm getting glue in the glue pot, I'm getting it, I got to get it goopy. I got to get a little goopy. See my goopiness? You see it? Oh, it's very goopy. Thick, but not dripping. Sometimes you'll see me spinning it around, that's why. Because I don't want it to drip. Ooh, 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 coming down, coming down. I love that. All right, mossy, mossy, mossy. Mossy, not bossy. Okay, I'm coming in, separating. Oh, thunder, thunder again. Beautiful. All right, let's kind of matchy-matchy this up here with what's down here. Okay, so grab your next stem. Here's my single one. So I'd love for that to kind of come up here and kiss this. Like, give it a little kiss, give it a little kiss. We'll come up and just come on in and match it. Right in here. Okay. Once again, we've got to have some moss in there. Because we got our little bit of glue, I'm going to roll this into a small little ball. And then we're just going to bring that right into it to hide all of that. See it? Now it's just all like, I call that a glue moss sandwich. It's going to hold in there nicely. You're not going to see any crumbs. No crumbs. No crumbs. We're going to eat this up. Okay. I mean, usually I call everything juicy, but now we're eating stuff up, y'all. Okay, now I'm going to go up a little bit above, and these are going to come down here, right? So cascading a little bit down with this section. Now we're talking. Things are coming together. Things are coming together. If you guys mix this great greenery with the great coloration on these pumpkins, you're going to make a gorgeous piece like this. Look at this. Yes. All right. Same deal. Moss rolled up into the cutest little moss ball. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yep. It's going to go in right here. And then we're going to put our a double right here where these kind of crisscross. So there'll be a lot of pumpkins in here, but we want that on purpose, where these are crisscrossing. So they're close to each other. Yep, you got to get a dip. You got to go for your glue dip. You're going to love it, pumpkin. Because I want these to go up and those pieces to go down. That's perfect. And remember, we've got more greenery to go in that middle area between everybody. Yep. You go there, you're looking good. All right, and then our other single stem, we're gonna put it right in between here. So you can see all of a sudden we've got just a great pumpkin cluster everywhere around here. And it goes cluster to 2, then 1. It's just spread out perfectly. If I jump because the lightning or thunder is coming at y'all, don't panic. It's just on my video. It's not at your home probably. Or if you're watching this and it's lightning and thundering, isn't that weird when you watch a movie and it's lightning and thundering? You might be having the perfect environment for creating for Halloween and fall. All right, looking good. Now let me show you close up again. You're gonna love it. Look at this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, so cute. All right, now before we come in with our berries, since our berries are gonna make it more pops of orange, we're gonna come in with some more greenery. And now we're gonna run that greenery right in that middle zone. Like when I'm teaching in design school, I teach you the layers and the zones and the depth and dimension. Remember, depth and dimension means more money when you get ready to charge for your work. It also means a higher level design. So even if you're just making for yourself or your friends and family, a little higher level with that depth is just so polished looking. You're gonna love that. So let's come in here with these now with my greenery, and we're gonna go greenery right in here. Okay. So that means on these are pusher stems too, and that means I can push them up. That's all that means on a pusher, means I can just push it up. So I'm going to do that right here and then make these kind of short. So we're going to do that on a few of them. Let's push it up a little, trim it short. Making a cute little cluster, trimming it off. Be careful. Do that over the trash can so you don't have a bunch of pieces everywhere because they're flying. They're flying. Okay. My trimming is done. And let's put these in that mid zone. Let's go in the mid zone. Hey, if you're still watching this video and you're loving this, you have got to come join us in design school because literally I'm in there every week teaching you how to do what we're doing. Detailed, step by step, a whole portal full of designs. When you first join, you get access to the last 6 months in designs. And then after you're in our group for 6 months, then boom, guess what? The whole portal opens up and it's well over 400 videos of content and creating and so much inspiration. So if you love floral design, it's a great place to be. And we'd love to have you. And you can find all the info at KeleasDesignSchool.com, or you can go over to Keleas.com. We have links over to it. You can ask us in an email, or you can text us. Text us on 832-734-5201. And another reason you want to get on that text list is because on there, I text you when a brand new video comes out. So if you don't want to miss any brand new content, being on the text list is the best place to be. Best place to be. Okay, let's come in here. You see the difference? Now look, I filled in the mid zone up here, okay? And I have it down here. You see the difference? Yeah, it's coming together really quickly now. Really, really beautiful. So let's come below and work on below right in here. And then I think we're ready to put our berries in. Let's get that party started. We can put the berries in. All right, bring that up. Let's keep going around and around and around she goes. Where she stops and nobody knows. Yeah, the thing I love about design school is every month we have a different category that we work on, as in season or holiday. But we also have a different skill we master every month. And the nice thing about that is we're always trying to up our game. Even for people who have been in our class 6 years already, what else can I help them get better at? Or have support for you when you're ready to try a different technique. You know, techniques and styles come and go, but it's nice to have that arsenal to go back and look at in our design school and be like, oh my gosh, I forgot I haven't made those quick and easy swags in a while, or I haven't made a lantern topper, or oh my gosh, I forgot to do a C-shape or two-bow wreath. All of these type of things we teach in design school, and it just gives you such an arsenal for the next time you're ready to create. It's too fun. All right, I put a little moss in there with that glue. Trying to. All right, we're looking good. So now it's berry time, berry time. Okay, here's the berries. Haha. So now I'm going to take this berry bush, and if you tear it down, you'll get a lot of independent berries. And that is if you want to use the berries tight, okay? If you want to use the berries more out towards the exterior, going outside the wreath, then you're going to want to cut it. And so we can have a little longer stem. I'm fine with these being short and all in here and just kind of adding that wispiness. So we're just going to take and tear these, and that will just save our hands a little bit from cutting. And just, it's usually not too hard, just tear them. Now I'm going to trim them after this. Kind of neat them up. See? We gotta clean up the messy, all right? We're gonna do that for all 3 bushes. And I got them all in my hand, and then I just take and I'm just gonna neatly trim the stems. All right, so that the wires aren't frayed, there's not a whole lot of paper. And then if things are like a little bit papery like this, just pull that off. All right, and you're good to go. And we don't need a bunch of mess that's gonna fail later in our design. I'm just gonna pull those all off. Now we've got all these great berries ready to go into our wreath. Anytime you have a good stem like this and you're just gonna use the top part, save that. Take and cut this off and save this. Because guess what? That could be a wreath hanger right here. This little piece right here, you can use as a great piece of wire for one of your next projects. So always save the stems off of any of your bigger pieces you cut down. This is our last bush to break down. I'm just going to tear these off, and then we'll neat them up and put them in our design. All right, and I'm going to use these in doubles when we put these in. So that means I'm just going to hold a couple together here, and we're going to go ahead and put them in together right into our wreath. All right, so my first one I think will come up here between the pumpkins. Get this guy in here. Get him feeling happy. He's so happy, so pretty. Oh, that's perfect. Those are going to just pop right in there. I'm just going to put my little bit of moss in. I'm covering my glue. And let's work our way down from there. And I like that we got a couple of different colors of orange working here. Because these berries, you see they have the darker, the lighter. That also helps you give depth to your design, and that looks really good. So I'm going to take and just twist these together and trim that off a little. Okay, let's put this one in. And when you sit in there and you manipulate them a little bit. You let those good wires in there work for you. You definitely let them work for you. Okay. Okay. I'm going to come back over here. I just love this orange in here. Looks good. Come on down, come on down, come on down. There we go, pretty. And then once that glue kind of sets up, we can come back to these, spread them out a little bit. They're a little easier to put in as 2 when you get ready to put them in. And that's because sometimes these wires are a little fine when you tear them down, but that's okay. I'll take and pair it with another one and just do a little twist like this. And then just trim that neat and straight. And we'll just go right in. So I'm going to come back to the inside, I think would be good right in here. Trying to get that right, but there's some moss there already. Get in there, buddy. There we go. Okay. Let's come back to the outside. That's so stinking pretty, y'all. Okay, now let's work from the center here, and we're going to go the other direction. And let me show you what a difference that's making in there. See the berries working in there, adding all that texture. Oh, and that color. Don't forget the color. It's gorgeous. I like that wispiness it kind of gives it. just swirling that a little so it doesn't drip. Come on the inside here. There we go. One of my wires was not wanting to go in. You gotta go in, buddy. Moss. Put that there, and then we're going to work down below here. We can do 2 more clusters and then 1 single. Put 1 right here. That looks great. Sometimes you gotta wiggle it in there. That's why I love my wreath stand, because it allows you to really push against it without falling. I can add some force. And I'm a big fan of our wreath making styles. Our last one at the end, right here, and we're gonna twist. I'm coming over to the other side, and I'm going to put this one in right here behind the greenery. Just kind of layering it in a little bit. I think that looks great. Now, I got a little bit greenery left and 1 berry, and I think it's going to be good to use it right here at the transition. That's where the bow would normally go if you're putting a bow in, where I changed direction. So I think we're going to go right in there and just kind of put a little bit in there to spruce that up a little. So I just cut this middle section down just a little. I love that, and we're gonna have that kind of go upward. So give that last little touch, give it a little time here. Give it a little loving. I'm gonna put this 1 berry kind of coming to the middle by itself. Because you want to make that center area a little extra special. Oh yeah. I think it knows my wreath is finished. It's going to get a little creepy around here. But this wreath is made with the intention that it can be used for both fall and Halloween. You know, you could pop something a little scary, fun, cutesy scary in, a sign. Or you can just transition into fall with it being just exactly like this.